For us, we actually have been talking to the UAE authorities and regulators for the past few months. And actually, to my surprise, to all of us surprise, is the speed and really the openness and welcomeness of the UAE authority to really embrace crypto. I actually had meetings with His Excellency Dr. Thani, the Minister of State for Foreign Trade, a few times before this announcement. And obviously, yesterday the press release was with His Excellency himself. But all the previous meetings, the UAE authorities were extremely determined. They mentioned that they want to welcome the top players into the UAE and Dubai, and really to kind of signal to the world that the country here is really embracing this new technology and this new infrastructure. I think what it means to UAE is trying to signal to the world, is trying to become the crypto central hub of the world by welcoming all these bigger players into the space. So yesterday it was a really pleasure to announce that we are going to not only move our headquarters here, but move significant portion of our operation into Dubai, helping the UAE to realize this goal.
So I wanted to understand what the business case is in this region versus anywhere else around the world. And I mentioned this dynamic that we see playing out between Russia and Ukraine. How do you make sure that your exchange, your platform, isn't being used to evade sanctions?
Yeah, first of all, we follow the sanction rules very much, and we are on full KYC in the Russian and Ukraine region. So anyone that are trying to use Bybit of any of our product and services, they have to do a full KYC and AML. We use actually the international institutions most bank uses, and that means whoever is on the sanction list will not be able to use our product and services. But I think this move for us actually has not really too much to do with Russia, the whole case. For us, it's really because the regulators here are extremely welcoming, and they welcome Bybit on the seat and help them to really further construct and strengthen the regulatory frameworks here. And we would love to, have our voice heard and be able to work with the regulators together to make this happen.
Ben, it's Hadley in Dubai as well. I mean, when you think about this a bit more broadly, Dan was mentioning how you are going to ensure that your platform isn't used by those working toward evading sanctions. And we're talking very much about Russians. It's interesting that Dubai and the UAE more broadly has become, frankly, a haven for those trying to leave Russia. I'm talking about oligarchs. I'm talking about people who need to park their money somewhere else. When you think about this with regards to what's happening next in the crypto space, regulation, how quickly we could see that coming down the pike, there are conversations happening in Washington, there are conversations happening in Europe as well. Do you anticipate that we're going to see an acceleration of that move to regulate?
That's 100%. So I think that crypto is global-wise. Bybit recently has obtained a few actually licenses globally, and we've seen the wave of crypto becoming more regulated. And I think the UAE is making an initiative offering a very comprehensive regulatory framework for the overall product and scope of even Bybit, full scope regulatory frameworks. So I think the whole space is moving towards being more regulated. And as far as sanction and all that goes, I don't think it's a particularly crypto industry problem. I think even with the sanction for regular bankings, and you have that as well. So, but I think crypto in general is moving towards a more positive direction. And I think the idea and view, people thinking that crypto is the safe haven for money laundering or this type of thing is no longer the case, because most platforms are compliant to AML and KYC procedures.